Hey, YouTube watch fans, Rolex fans. Today we're going to do a little something different, a little unboxing video for a 60s Rolex Submariner 5513. This is kind of a generic unboxing. There's a lot of variants back in those days, so bear with me. I will explain some things and tell you why I feel the way I do about the accessories from that vintage. Anyway, let's get into it. This is a particular watch, is a 1966 5513. And yes, this box here, the Seahorse outer box, is slightly newer, late 60s to about the mid 70s. You would typically see this outer box, and then it was replaced by the moon crater box that ran up through the early 80s. But anyway, this would have been the box, or one of the boxes. This or the probably actually for 66, the white with the green stripe outer box would have been the one, or the solid green box for it would have been right on the border there. Probably not the Seahorse box. So here's the inner box. This is the box that Rolex collectors refer to as the coffin or pyramid box because of the shape of the lid. This would have been a very common watch box for this vintage Rolex. This box was used all the way up until the late 70s, I believe. And here's another style that would have been very common. This is the type with the pedestal insert. This has the slotted card. Either one would have been likely to have been used with this 1966 5513. But this is very representative of what you would have seen. So let's start with some of the accessories. The green hang tag, the Schwim Prof oyster lollipop tag, we collectors call it. Here's some generic information that would have been on them. They would have either handwritten this or, in this case, typed it. 5513, 26 jewel. I think this is a stock number. On the front, in this little white area, they usually hand wrote a price. There's a couple versions of this tag, be advised. All of this stuff, there's variance in it. So if you want to be 100% correct, you have to do some research. For instance, the anchor. This is a 200 meter, of course. There's several versions of this. Is the second version. This is period correct for my watch. The font can change, the location of the crown, etc. Do your homework. Before I get to the watch, let's keep doing the accessories. The infamous cigarette card. Used box for cigarettes after removing this card and watch support. Kind of funny in today's context. I guess in the 60s, a lot of people smoked, so these cards came in most Rolex models. And it just goes over some of the features of the Submariner 200 meter. Here's the plastic document holder. There are some variances in this also. This particular one, it's not quite correct. I think this is probably early to mid 70s. So again, if you want to be 100% correct, do your homework on these. There are some variances, and it's kind of hard to tell because there's only a couple of different reference numbers. There's, see the reference number on there? And there's a real early reference number, and then this later one that came out in the 60s. but the plastic holders themselves can have some variance. So again, do your homework. Calendar card, 66. They did this all the way up into what, the 2000s. They gave you a little freebie calendar, pocket calendar. Here's your oyster booklet. This one is, you can go by the achievements calendar, which last entry is 67. So indeed, this is a 67 year oyster, Rolex oyster booklet, white with gold leaf lettering. Very nice to have when you're building out your box set accessory collection. Here's the guarantee paper. There's some controversy over this. My take on it, my experience says that the non-chronometer watches, such as the 5513, did not come with a punched card or anything pre-typed out by Rolex. What they typically did is they gave you a fold-out card or this little booklet. This particular booklet, I believe, is correct for my year watch, which is a 66. This one is actually marked 69, but around 66, they kind of transition from the fold-out guarantee paper for the non-chronometer watches to this little booklet. And this was used up until into the early 70s when they actually started, the non-chronometer watches actually started coming with a punched card. So this was kind of the transition period. And so when you bought a Rolex at your friendly Rolex AD, non-chronometer, this is the booklet it would have come with. And this one is kind of rare. It is not filled out at all. Up here, they would have typed in the serial number and perhaps the reference number and the movement type. Stamped and dated it here with their dealer stamp to activate your warranty. And then a lot of times at the bottom, I've seen them handwrite in the new owner's name and perhaps his phone number. They did stuff like that. And so if you can find one of these to, if anytime you can get the original warranty card or papers, great stuff. Really adds a lot of value to your watch if you can do that. So anyway, that's that. And last but not least, I said that was the last thing, but actually, here's the original case back sticker. These were used starting in the early, there was a period of time when they used this one, which talks about radiation safe when they transitioned from radium to tritium. But my particular watch would have came with this case back sticker. Here's the watch itself. This is a slotted watch holder that would have come with this style box. And here's the 5513 1966, third quarter of 1966. It's got the proper insert in here. This is the fat font long 5 Mark II or something like that. I get those numbers mixed up. I've been doing this a while, guys, but I just, my memory's just not that good. And I guess I just don't care that much unless I'm getting grilled by a fellow collector over stuff, and then we get real precise. But anyway, this long 5 insert is the proper insert for this particular vintage Rolex. The 7206 riveted oyster bracelet is proper. And all in all, this is a pretty nice watch. The dial's original. It's got a lot of nice patina on the lume. That yellow cream color is, collectors really like that. It's got its original brevet beveling. It hasn't been overly polished. It's a real nice example of a 5513. Anyway, that is the watch, and unboxing video. I will say this, adding your accessories to your vintage watch is, to me, half the fun. I like doing it. I like finding all the correct accessories to go with it and try to build out a full box set. If you can do that, you would be amazed at how much value it adds to your watch. It's just, it can add tremendous, it could double the value of your watch, literally. And especially the original, having the original certificate, right? If you can come up with that. This is the next best thing, having a blank certificate that's somewhat period correct. These aren't growing on trees. I'm looking for a 66, but you take what you can get. Anyway, I bought that at a watch show. This accessory collecting is it's a never-ending battle amongst us Rolex guys. There's people that think they have a bead on it, but let me tell you something. That back in the 60s, probably up into the early 70s, it was kind of the Wild West, you know, as far as when you purchased the watch, there was so much done at the dealer. Rolex shipped the watch heads separate from the bracelets, separate from the accessories, and it was pretty much up to the dealer to assemble everything at point of purchase. So you walked in, you say, I want a Rolex Submariner. He would say, what kind of bracelet do you want? Or do you want a leather band? And you would say, yeah, I want this bracelet, yada, yada. He'd put the bracelet on for you. And then he would more than likely dig under his counter and come up with a box. And so you'll see a lot of variance between supposedly original watches with their original boxes. You'll see slightly different variations of the accessories. So that's why I'm saying, you know, most of this happened before most of us watching this, you know, most of you watching this video were even born. It happened before I was even around. So there is some question and variance, and there's nothing cut and dry. I wish I could tell you it was all cut and dry, but it's not. So do your research and investigate this stuff for yourself, and try to do the best to get the correct accessories for your watch. It's a lot of fun, and it'll add a lot of value to your watch if you have the whole box set. So anyway, that's my unboxing for this watch. Hope you guys enjoyed it and maybe learned a couple things, and you can make comments in the comment section. We're all here to learn stuff and enjoy this hobby like we want to pursue it. So thanks for watching again, and good collecting to all of you, and I'll see you on the next video.